Hello, hello! It is your favorite host, and I am finally recording this goddamn video. It is the day before the cast reveal, and I technically don't have the challenge order done, but the last two spots are like things I can work around to where like I don't know exactly what they're going to be, but I do know the type of challenge that they are. So I figured, I don't have that much time, so I might as well record this shit while I can. So in terms of, oh my god, I didn't plan out all the powers. Damn, okay. Anyways, I don't think the powers are gonna do that much damage. Plus, technically, I don't know which four are going to be chosen. I do have a theory of which one's not gonna get chosen, but I don't know which ones will get chosen. And it just, seems too much of a hassle to predict all that. So, if I think a power is gonna really impact the game, I'll mention it. But I think for the sake of simplicity, and I don't want to do it, I'm not going to count the powers into this. I hope we're all okay with that. So, the first challenge, I'm just going to get right into this. First of all, actually, you're going to probably hear that a lot in this video. I just want to say how stacked this cast is. Because holy shit, I think this might be the first All-Stars where no one declined, across the board. Because All-Stars 1 had a few, which is why the cast ended up the way it did. All-Stars 2, I think only Shakura declined, which, I guess, whatever. I'm not counting Superstars, though I don't think anyone declined for that either. All-Stars 3, oof. But in this one, everyone was like, yeah, I'm cool with coming back. Damn! Okay. Now we actually have, an all-star lineup. Emphasis on the all. But that's neither here nor there. In terms of the first challenge, it is which is which. One half gets to do a creative challenge, and the other team just knows, it's something along the lines of, drawing on the thing with lines, because I didn't want... I'm so serious. I didn't want Kira to pick this and then get, fucked. Because I would have felt so bad. I really, really tried to make this season accessible in terms of challenges. I hope it ended up well. I don't know. So... It's really hard to start off because you have no idea what's gonna happen, who's gonna flop, etc. But generally speaking, I have a few thoughts. So in terms of kind of everyone, I hope the mouse is moving across the screen because I don't have two monitors. Well, I do. I should have used it. Because I got one from work. It's a really nice monitor too. Anyways, who do I think is not gonna do well? Realistically, I'm weighing the creative challenge a lot for the prediction, not for the, you guys found out, but I'm weighing the creative part in my head a lot because a lot of you are not good at creative challenges. And I can say that because I am good at creative challenges. But then again, it's also kind of like a comedy challenge. So, But, oh, you know what? Let me start putting people next to their teammates. So, I think Ali and PX... I hope to God Ali picks the Good Witch, because I actually do think she would do really well in that, because one thing about Miss Ali, she will do well in the comp. And not that, I think she's so terrible that I can't imagine it, but, I would have never expected her to be a comp beast. Now watch the season happens and she's like 0 for 2 and then gets eliminated. But, I think they're going to be fine. Sully and where's Joey? Oh, Jesus God. Okay. Oh my God, this is already so bad. Sully and Joey, they're fine. Brooke and Raven, you and Danger Girl. Molly, oh shit. Oh my God, that was so bad. Can you tell I didn't practice this at all? You know, I meant to ask her how it's pronounced. I think it's Savraya. I'm gonna say Sav just to make my life easier. But hey, maybe I'll find out it's different. So Sav and Molly. Whew, I also think they're very much in danger. And actually, that's it. I'm not even gonna like waste your time with all the other teams. It's those two. But who do I think is gonna win? In terms of challenges, I think Zayden and Kira are very well set up for this challenge, actually, because I feel like Zayden can really lean into that, like, that morbid humor aspect. And, or no, Kira's gonna be doing it. Never mind. Oh! I'm sorry. I told y'all, this is not scripted or pre-planned. That just kind of came out. I don't think Kira would do well in the creative aspect of the comp. But she could surprise me. Like, I'm not saying I think she's gonna suck, but I don't think this is gonna be her comp. Courtney and Omen, I actually do see the two of them doing very, very well on this challenge. They are two people who are good at the comps when they need to be. Joey and Sully, ooh, they could definitely win this, because they're both very good at the comps. Lunar and Zeridium, I actually do not think they're going to win, even though they are coming in as like the comp beast team. I do not think that they're going to win. I don't think creative challenges are either of their fortes. I mean, okay, I take that back, because I'm pretty sure it was Lunar's team, Lunar and Joey, that won the creative challenge for Superstars with the eggs. But that's tricky, because I actually do think now, looking back on it, Lunar could definitely slay a creative comp. I think Joey and Sully, though, are going to win. When I think about a maze and like a comedy challenge, I do think Joey would do like the physical one and Sully would do the creative one, and that would be it. So I am going to say Joey and Sully are going to win. Because one thing I've learned when I do these prediction videos is that I really underestimate the very likely things happening. Like, I always think, oh, this team's going to surprise me. They don't. So I think I'm going to play it safe and say that Joey and Sully are going to both do very well in their individual challenges, and then when their average gets taken, they're going to do really well. I don't see either one of them flopping either of their challenges. The only thing I can see, I don't think Joey's going to take the creative comp. I think he knows better than that. I think he's going to go for the maze, and he's probably going to get like third within his group, depending on who it is. I'm not going to do all that. But I do think he... Am I recording? Like, it just hit me. Okay. So I do think Joey is going to do not as good as Sully. And at first I didn't know where I was going with this point, but I think Sully is going to be the pilot for the week. In terms of Brooke, Raven, Sav, Molly, this is tricky, because Raven isn't like dog shit at comps, but also that was season 14, and I have to take that into account. And Sav, like, did not have a good showing on season 13. I'm so sorry. I love Sav. I invited her back for a reason, because I could have just done 2 people from that season. Like, let me make it clear. I chose Sav because I thought she would bring some spice to the season. I do not regret casting her. Once again, I'm doing this the day before the cast reveal. If I end up regretting that, that would be very funny, because I was pushing for Sav in my own mind. But yeah, I think Molly could bring the average up, because I don't really see either of them, like, winning their particular challenge, but I don't see them doing bad enough to, like, completely just die on the challenge. So I'm gonna say Brooke and Raven are gonna lose the first challenge, as much as that pains me, because y'all know, I am Team Woman over here. I want a woman to win All-Stars. I don't know what my prediction's gonna be. Fun fact though, the last 2 times I did a prediction video with Joey in it, he was my winner pick. I will be interested to see if I do that again. So I'm gonna say Brooke and Raven are the bottom 2. And then in terms of who gets nominated against them, because Sav has been pretty, like, I don't want to say inactive preseason, because that would be a lie, but I don't particularly see her being super active. But, okay, I remember towards the end game of season 16, Allie and Molly, like, were not the most available people in the world, which is due to real life things. Like, I'm not knocking them. Obviously, I put them on All-Stars. It didn't affect me enough. But here's why I bring that up. I think Molly is going to get nominated. And Sully is a strategic thinker, but they also know when to play it safe, which to me makes him a strategic thinker. I just wanted to, like, mention that in case it wasn't, like, obvious. I think Sully will want to put up Molly because they know that there's 4 people from season 16, and even though Molly has major beef with Tim, and Sully might want to, like, keep her in to make sure they continue to have beef, I could also see Sully kind of making, like, the safe choice, and I think in this case Molly is the safe choice. So, just a recap for the group. This is where I see the bottom 3, and this is who I see as the pilot. Oh. Okay, I hope that doesn't become an issue. But, yeah, that's my prediction for the bottom 3. Okay, everything looks good on the camera. I'm, like, so terrified that the audio's, like, not going to go through, even though I did a test. But, yeah, that's what I think for bottom 3 and pilot. Who goes home? Oh, my God, it's all women. Do you know how upset this is making me? That, like, most of the Redeemers are women. Like, I didn't enjoy casting it that way. Oh my God, every Redeemer is a woman. Because you got Brooke, Sav, Raven. Okay, Zayden. Okay. There's, like, one that's not a woman, thank God. So, who do I think goes home? Even though, Brooke, yeah, I feel weirdly, actually no. I think Raven is going to surprise me. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I've been very much underestimating Raven, like, going into the season, which is also why I think her and Brooke are going to lose. And I kind of could see, I think Raven's going to go either way. I think Raven's going to do well or Raven's going to bomb. I do not see an in-between for her. I'm going to keep her safe, though. Let me keep her there. I'm going to keep her safe. I do not think she will be inactive. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So Molly and Brooke. Ooh. See, this to me is the bottom 2 I really do see happening week 1. Um, God damn. Because, okay, here's why I'm, like, so torn. Molly, I think, is just gonna have real-life things pop up. It's not gonna be her fault. I want to make this clear. I'm not shaming anyone in this video for having, like, real-life things, but it will probably influence a decent amount of my decisions. Because I've realized that can make or break someone for All-Stars. With Molly, I remember she told me during season 16 that she works multiple jobs. And that does kind of make her unavailable. And with All-Stars, you really have to be, like, in it that first week. Because with any season, but especially All-Stars, no one wants to throw the first name out. I mean, my God. So I don't particularly see Molly. I hope I did not fumble the word as badly on video as I think I just did. I cannot say that word. With Brooke and Molly, though, I do see Molly going home first. I think that's my prediction I'm gonna make. And I'm not happy about it. Alternatively, I guess Allie and PX, I could see it happening. I could see them being low. I'll say that. And if not Molly, I do think Sav would go home instead of her. That, to me, even though Brooke and Raven lost, I see Brooke being very excited and social. And I just don't see Molly being active enough. Now, the real question is, does Tim go on, like, a rampage to get rid of her? I do not know. But I could see it. I could. Now, in terms of voting for the person to, go into the grab bag, I mean, that's a complete fucking wild card. I do see Brooke and Raven working together, because I could see the strat that I'm thinking people are going to do is that when they're up with their partner and there's a third person, they're going to say, hey, like, if the two of us promise our votes to someone, they can keep us safe with the power and vote out that third person, which kind of is almost another reason to get rid of Molly. But do I think Raven and Brooke are going to, like, think of that plan? No. I don't think anyone's going to think of it for, like, the first 2 weeks. Maybe no one will think of it. Ziridium might, though. I have a lot of confidence that Ziridium would figure that out. Because I'm just figuring that out, too. Like, I came up with this twist a couple days ago. And I'm only just now thinking of it because I'm improvising on a $20 Amazon mic. So, I think... Who do Brooke and Raven give it to, though? I mean, it could be anyone, really. Maybe Raven will kind of push for a woman because she knows how much I want a girl to win. Maybe? I don't think they're going to give it to Sav because I don't think Sav would, like, willingly give up a teammate. But, I mean, it could go to anyone else. I think maybe... I might go PX, actually. Weirdly enough. Because his social game, on point. And I think, even though he's not a girl, like, I know I obviously just said that. It could also go to Kira, though. Those are, like, my two. I think... God, I don't know. Actually, I'm going to say Kira. I think Kira will get to pick the first power of the season. So that is week 1 done. How are we feeling, kids? Are we still there? So, okay, everyone's close enough to their teammates. I'm just going to say fuck it. So the next challenge, I forgot. Okay, good. It's still on the thing. Oh, growing pains. Okay, this is just like an app comp. Cool. Lunar Ziridium. I'm not gonna... Yeah. Lunar loves to lock in. Though, it's not a grinding challenge. At least, am I going to make it a grinding challenge right off the bat? I don't know, because I feel like that's kind of boring. I've been trying to stay away from grind comps. It's not going to be a grind comp. I'm just going to go with that. Even though it kind of makes it harder, I'm sure I'll find something in terms of like how to put the comp out there. But yeah, so Growing Pains, Lunar and Zeridium, probably going to win. Easton and Tim, I also could see winning though, because Lunar is good when he can grind out a comp. Yeah, I'm still going to keep Lunar and Zeridium. And then which of them gets it? I don't know, because both of them are very smart. And both of them would realize, like, oh shit, like, if I'm the pilot, I can't even get the power. And also, I put a target on my back. Not that, like, I think people are going to look at Sully and be like, oh, you little bitch. I see both of them not wanting it. However, I see Lunar not wanting it more. So I think Zeridium is probably going to be the pilot. I don't feel like putting the 3 people up there. Who do I think is going to lose? Could be Sav, honestly. I'm so sorry. I did this to Emp in the All-Stars 3 video. I had Emp at like 3rd. And I said that he was going to get dragged to the end because he's shit at comps. I mean, I was kind of right, but... Sully and Joey, I don't see in the bottom. Courtney Omen, I see in the middle. Brooke Raven... I mean... Oh my god. I hate to break it to you. I weirdly think Brooke, Raven, and Sav are gonna do the worst again. Because, like, okay. Joey and Sully, it's not gonna be them. Tim and Easton, I don't see it being them. That doesn't really, like, make sense. Yeah, I'm like thinking about it, and I don't know. I do see Raven doing better on this one. And like, Brooke isn't like dog shit at comps. And Sav, I mean, we saw her not do well on season 13, but that was also because it was, I think, those are grind comps. So like with a kind of more of a time limit, she might end up doing better because people can't like grind it out. See, if Sav had just made it to the jury, this would be a lot easier to figure out how she's gonna do. Okay, well, Kira and Zayden also weren't super great at the comps either. Like, in retrospect. I always thought they were doing a lot better than they were, but they weren't, apparently. So they could definitely end up near the bottom as well. I don't know, guys. This is hard. Because, like, I'm not used to having a cast that's, like, this good in one of these prediction videos. Superstars was terrible to go through, my god. But also, some of those people were, like, really bad at comps. I don't think it's going to be Sav this week. But I do think she's going to end up in the bottom too, because I have nothing else to go off of. Like, really. You know what? It's Sav, Seventh Heaven, and Poke Sisters. Those are like the 3 that I feel the most confident on landing in the bottom. I don't want it to be Sav, and that's kind of the hard part. It's like, how do I balance who do I want it to be and who do I think it'll be? I think Brooke and Raven are going to end up in the bottom 2 teams. Man, this is hard. Like, I really gotta think about this. I think I am gonna put Sav in the bottom 2 teams. I'm sorry. I think Kira and Zayden are gonna come close to the bottom, if not be in the bottom 2 teams, period, regardless of who went week 1. And I'm not gonna lie, I do think Brooke goes home against both of them. I don't think it would be Sav. Unfortunately. It's unfortunate. I think Raven and Sav are now a team. I can't tell if these are like 2 different colors or not. Like, this one looks brighter than this one. I should look into that anyways. This is a social comp, so maybe we'll get some different people near the top. Raven, I think, could carry. See, this is tricky because they could gun down like a threat. Like, if they're being smart about this, I could see Lunar and Zeridium ending up in the bottom 2. I could see Joey and Sully ending up in the bottom 2. It really depends on how the first 2... Oh, who gets the... I don't care. I don't think Kira would need to use the power week 2. Yeah, it's bugging me. Molly and Brooke's things look totally different shades. I'm like, did one of them have a different background? Was I doing something? In terms of a social comp, I think Courtney and Omen are fine. I think Allie and PX are fine. I think Kira and Zayden are fine. Tim and Easton I could see struggling, but I almost wonder if they're going to go for Lunar and Zeridium, because, like, I put them together for a reason. I think everyone's going to know that the 2 of them are the biggest threats left in the game. And unfortunately, no matter how you spin it, Lunar being a double winner is something they all have to think about. Like, and trust me, I do not endorse metagaming, but I think it's kind of too hard to ignore that. And also, with them winning the second challenge, I could see them maybe being worried about Lunar going forward. And Zeridium is just Zeridium. Like, he's a threat. Everyone knows he's a threat. There's no hiding that. I think Joey and Sully would kind of love the opportunity to get rid of Lunar. So, I'm going to say Lunar and Zeridium get ganked. And who's the other team that I don't think is, like, super... I think Tim would carry the social game for his team. But is it enough? That's an interesting point to make. I could also see Allie and PX, actually. Because... You know what? I'm going to change my mind. I'm actually going to say Allie and PX are going to lose. And here's why. Ooh, but Joey does have a time zone that doesn't really, like, mesh well with the rest of the group. But I'm going to say Allie and PX, and here's why. Allie has been very busy at her job. Because she has, like, a really big job. Like, go you. And then PX, he said to put his time zone as Eastern, but that's not what his time zone is. So I could see the 2 of them not, like, clicking with the rest of the cast in a way that, like, Lunar and Zeridium can connect with the rest of the cast. And I could see Easton really, like, scrambling to get votes for Zeridium so he doesn't go home this early. Well, I'll probably get back into that later. So I'm going to say Allie and PX are going to be bottom 2. And then who do I think goes down with them? I I really don't think Raven and Sav would be bottom 2. And maybe that's just, like, me not wanting to, like, bash them. But I don't think it would be them. I think Kira and Zayden would be social enough. Maybe there could be a failed, like, attack plan against Lunar and Zeridium to where one of them are in the bottom 2 teams. That seems entirely possible. Courtney and Omen, even if they decide to go for winners. I think in either case, though, and it hurts to say, I think Allie would probably go anyways, because she wouldn't be as social as the rest of the group. I want everyone to know I take no pleasure in seeing 3 women being eliminated when we had, I think, 7 women on this cast. That I'm not vibing with that. I forgot the next challenge. So I don't have the next challenge planned. This is not one of the ones I thought I was missing. But I think it's just going to be just like a normal app comp. I don't think I'm going to do anything fancy for it. I think generally speaking in terms of... Plus, I mean, maybe it's better for me if I don't know what the comp is going to be. We'll try that out. PX is by himself. Yeah, he had pretty, like, okay track record. I mean, I think Allie had a better track record than him. And he had a worse cast. But... I mean, Raven and Sav, they're right there. I can't ignore them. And it's... Man, I feel bad. In terms of powers, just an update on that. Still, it's way too random for me to predict. It's not even going to be worth it to me. Though, I will say, generally speaking, I do think, if available, most people will pick the power of the season that they're from. Like, Kira, for example, I predicted her getting it week 1. I could see her picking the season 16 power because... Like, why not? Because, I mean, it really is just going to be a grab bag, so why not pick the one I'm from? But I also kind of see people who are paying attention going for Season 13 if it's available. Because they might think, oh, that was the one inspired by Dante's Inferno. Like, maybe that'll be like a mean power. Because, you know, Season 14, which I pray Season 14 is like one of the 4. I do, you know what, let me also just mention that. I think Season 16 is the one that will not get used, or Season 12. Just, I think 14 had a big enough, like, thing about, like, friendship. People will probably think it's like a veto or something, which I get, kinda. I think 15 will get picked because people may think of, like, the whole thing about distortion and stuff like that. Like, they may think it will cause some trouble. I think 13 for the reasons I just said. 12 I'm iffy on. I think people will be like, oh, that could kind of go either way. I don't know. And 16, first of all, 16 is my favorite season of this group of 5, obviously. But the theming just kind of being like world circuit, I do think people might be like, like, I can't envision what that power would be. So I think unless someone is like, not in like a negative way, but not putting any thought into it and just picking, then I could see Season 16 getting selected that way. But I don't know. That's just my random prediction. I don't think all the powers are going to be used well. I'm hoping like Zeridium or Easton or Tim gets the brick, because I think that'd be very funny. But yeah, app comp, I think Raven and Sav aren't going to do well. PX, I don't think he'll do well. Kira and Zayden, I don't see them doing super well either. Courtney and Omen could be in danger. But I think I'm... Oh, and this one is not going to be a grind comp. Well, I mean, that could be funny because we're going into a turbulence week. Actually, yeah, right here, right now, I'm going to make this a grind comp because I think that would be funnier. Maybe it'll be growing pains, but I mean, even if, like, I maybe shuffle the order of challenges around, it's not really going to matter. Like, there are certain challenges, like the creative and social challenges, where it would change my predictions. But, like, Molly and Sav, I think that's a pretty good bet for, and Brooke and Raven, I think it's a pretty good bet. But yeah, in terms of this, I'm going to go Kira, Zayden, Raven, Sav for bottom 4. Did I even say... I didn't even pick, like, a nomination for the last round. I don't think it matters, really. Who did I even say was going to win that? Did I say... Sound off in the comments if I said that. Because I do like to predict that. So I've said Sully, Zeridium, and for the social one, I don't see Tim and Easton winning. I'm fun pick. I'm gonna pick Courtney and Omen. Or, I mean, it really could be Allie and PX. I could be totally wrong. But I'm gonna say Courtney and Omen are gonna win. And I think Omen is gonna want the power. Because if I remember correctly, one of Omen's biggest regrets was that he kind of didn't have an early move. So I think he'll kind of want that because Omen gives me Lunar Jr. Complimentary. So I'm going to say Omen was the last pilot. For this one, it's a grind comp. Lunar and Zeridium are going to win. I think Lunar's going to want it. I think by now he would want some power, especially if my theory is right and there's like a failed attempt to knock him out on the Like 'em Up challenge. I think he'll want the power. So I think Lunar and Zeridium are going to win. And I think Raven and Sav are going to be last. Kira and Zayden, bottom 2. Now this is interesting because I don't know who Lunar would gravitate more towards between Zayden and Kira. I think Zayden and Lunar would get along though. But I also think him and Kira would get along. I guess I also gotta think him and Joey are probably gonna be working together for the pre-merge. And I think Joey will try to be like, oh, I like this person, you should keep him in. And Joey's teammate is Sully. Sully will have no stake in who gets nominated between the two of them. And I don't think Lunar would really care about like Raven and Sav either. Like, I don't see them linking up with him either. I don't think Lunar gives a shit. I think Lunar just wants the power to kind of like, you know, flip off everyone from the social challenge, which I, you know, created that whole scenario in my head. I think... I don't know what I think. This is gonna sound really bad. Okay. Zeridium and Easton, that's a final 2. I don't see one of them straying from the other. I think Easton will say, hey, we gotta keep Zayden around, because Zayden's my BFF. So I think the 3 of them will convince Lunar to put up Kira. But Kira's not gonna go home, it's Kira. I think this would be Sav's moment, unfortunately. I think by now, she would not have done well in enough of the challenges to where no one really wants to get her as a teammate. Do I think she would get in a fight by now? I don't, because she had, in my scenario, she has not been nominated. I hope she gets into a fight though. That would be funny. Also, holy hell, 4 in a row, and 2 of them were on the same team. Cool. So now we have, I can actually put people with their teammates, finally. We're at final 12. Cursed bodies. I mean... God... This would have to be Lunar and Zeridium's, like, moment. I think, in my scenario, they've had 2 challenge wins. They would be up for elimination. Who do I think the other team would be, though? That's the question. Well, I guess I gotta think of it this way. I don't think Lunar and Zeridium would win the challenge. Or, excuse me. Well, yeah, I don't think it would win. I don't think they'd be last, either. So I think they would be, like, the voted team. And I'm just gonna put Lunar. What? Let me fix that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put Lunar up here as 11th place because I put the team who came in last as like the first elimination. So in terms of who would do battle on the slide puzzle, because I do want it to be a slide puzzle, and I'm doing a mean slide puzzle. Kira Zayden. Well, no, because I would want it to be accessible for Kira. Maybe I shouldn't do a slide puzzle. At least not now. I'll do a slide puzzle in the second round of the finale. And I'll explain why. But I'm gonna do a jigsaw puzzle. That's fair. Yeah. So a jigsaw puzzle, nothing changed. I think Raven would do well. Kira and Zayden are calling my name again. Courtney and Omen? Maybe? I don't know though, because Omen like really comped out towards the end. I don't think Sully and Joey would have any problem with it. Well, Tim and Easton, maybe? I'm gonna go Kira and Zayden. I don't know if you all saw it, I did just point towards them. I think probably Kira would pop the power, and... I don't want to say it. But, like, hear me out, okay? Would Tim... No, I'm sorry, Easton, would he want to keep in Zayden? I don't know. Because, like... I think I'm just going to put Zayden, because... I think whatever power Kira had in my scenario, I think it gets used anyways. So it's not even worth it to, like, even think about Zayden not going home. Oh, I think I meant to put 10 to 12 on that. Well, I don't care. So now we have the Incredible. Oh, it just hit. Well, no, Cursed Bodies would work for pairing up by who did better. So, splitting up the teams, who did better on each team? Kira versus Iridium. I don't know though, because this actually does seem like... Oh no, I did kind of say her and Zayden would lose, didn't I? Oh. Because now I kind of want to take that back, because this does feel like something she would have done well in. Maybe Raven and PX. I don't know. That's kind of a tricky one. I might keep Zayden there, but just, like, remember I thought of that. So, Kira and Zeridium, I'm gonna say... I might say Kira did better, actually. I think she has enough experience in the org community to where she kind of has a rhythm down for these. I'm actually going to put people up here because that seems a lot. How's the camera doing? Okay, y'all can see everything. That's good. Courtney, Omen. I think Omen did better. These two, oh god. I just know they're gonna bother me so much. I'm gonna give it to Joey. PX Raven, I think Raven did better. Easton Tim. Might give it to Easton. Okay. So, now we're doing rock hoppers. And this is, like, yeah, it's physical, but it's, like, strategic in the same... Oh my god, can I put people back down here? Shit. Whoops. So... let's go with the top group, the people who did better. This is like a thinky comp, so not Raven, not Easton. I'm gonna go Omen. Omen's very smart. I'm gonna go Omen. Not to say like Joey and Kira aren't. I just wanted the silence so that Raven and Easton could figure out what I said. I think Omen would win. Who would go last? Okay, so here's like the interesting part, right? Because I remember when I did it on season 16, I sent it to Kira. I was like, hey, hypothetical question, totally random. How would you have done on this comp? Like, would you have had trouble? I remember she told me, for the most part, it would have been fine, except the colors needed to be more contrast. So I don't think she's going to lose, because I'm sure I'll have found a way to make it very readable. Because even I have to admit, the color combo I chose was but that was because I was trying to make it look like a volcano. And I did say try before someone wants to run their mouth. We all know who. Joey's not going to lose. I'm going to say Raven loses, but not by a lot. And, oh shit, I gotta do a nomination too. Fuck. I think Omen will want to keep Raven. I could see him going for Joey. Nominating Joey. I see that. And then for the other group, who do I think wins? See, this actually, I know they're kind of like the booger group, but I actually see this one being closer. Sully, oh my god, they could all win. They could all whoop the other group's asses. I'm gonna knock out... I don't think Tim won this from season 16. I'm trying not to reference anything either, because anything can happen. I don't think PX would win. I'm actually gonna say PX loses this. I don't know why. That's vibes. Courtney could sneak in a win. Definitely. Sully... oh... I see Sully being second or third. So it really comes down to Zeridium and Tim. God. I think Zeridium would, like, really lock in for this. So I don't see him losing. Or, excuse me, I could see him winning. Because he's very strategic. But, like, Courtney also is a good thinker. And so is Sully. I hope, Tim, while you were watching, you caught that. Oh, this is hard. It's It's like I want to give it to Courtney just because I like her. I'm gonna give it to Sully. But that's mostly because I've played with them a lot, and it's been longer since I saw Courtney play. And also with Courtney, this is like an interesting thing. Joey, we all know he's good, whatever. Courtney kind of got a bad handle in her season, so we didn't get to see her play. But I am going to give it to Sully just because I know more about what they can do. Whereas with Courtney, it's kind of an unknown, but I would not be surprised if she wins it. Should she make it this far? I hope. Please, Courtney, please. Please. In terms of who Sully puts up with PX, I see them putting up Courtney. Oh wait, I literally just remembered. I wanted to do the co-pilot twist, which would not have affected anything prior to this. Let me make that clear. It would only start now. Would I want to start it now? Now I think about it. I think I'll start it the next round, and here's why. It's just like a final 5 right now, like in terms of the distortions and dimensions and shit. And I feel like that would be too, like, constricting on who people can nominate, because then they only have 2 choices at that point. And that doesn't feel like enough. Like, that doesn't feel fun to me. But then the co-pilot twist would only be for 3 rounds. But I also like it, because it's something, you know? Like, it's some little bit of safety that you can have. And the thing I'm really thinking about with All-Stars, this season at least, I don't know about going forward, is I really want to ramp up like the randomness, like the unpredictability. And I think the co-pilot twist would at least be something, but I don't think I want to do it for this. I think letting people have 3 choices is better than letting them have 2. That to me feels more fun. We'll see. In terms of who would get second, oh my god, Joey would be immune then in the other group. I feel like Easton would go up next to Raven. Anyway, moving on. To the other group. I'm gonna say Zeridium gets second. No, I'm gonna switch that. Zeridium first, Sully second. I think Zeridium puts up Courtney. No. I think he puts up Tim. Here's why. This is exciting. I think Zeridium would want to maybe keep Easton for himself, like kind of make sure Easton doesn't have someone to blindside Zeridium with, like if that makes sense. Like, kind of like if I can't have you, no one can. Like, just in that frame of mind. That's what I would do. If you wanted, like, just to know how Crim would play it, I would see if I can get rid of Easton's, like, BFF. Because I think Easton and Tim are going to get along. Derogatory. So I think Zeridium will want Tim out of there. So, I think Tim... Damn! I hate this! I'm gonna say... Oh, it's not over yet. I'm sorry. Tim would lose this. Would he? Because Sully and Courtney would be the votes. I could see Courtney wanting to keep PX, though. I could see Sully wanting to get rid of PX, but I think of a tie and Tim would go. That's what I'm rocking with. And then in terms of Easton versus Raven, that's why I came to the conclusion to... I feel like now is when they would start getting rid of threats. And I think Easton is more threatening. So funny enough, I see Easton and Tim actually being the pair that gets picked off here. So... God, I keep looking at Lunar, like, so low. And I'm like... It feels wrong, but I see the vision. So I am going to say Easton and Tim are the 2 votes, like 2 people that can be voted out. And then I'm gonna like shuffle people around real quick. Excuse me. I'm going to put them down here to make it easier. So these 6 are voting on these 2. I really like the player icons. Also, my screen looks weird. It's because I have the nightlight on because my eyes hurt. I'm looking at my computer all day long for my job. And also because I have nothing else to do. So in terms of who I think the group would vote out between the 2 of them... Because, okay, here's another thing, is I'm sure someone's going to go, on the cast is going to go, why didn't you make it like a challenge between the 2 of them? Like, that would be kind of a bit more intense. I don't ever want someone's elimination to come down to a challenge. Like, I don't want it to be like, oh, I lost a game, so I went home. Like, I feel like it's more dignified to say I went out in a vote than I went out in a challenge. That's just me. I feel like the group, though, the 6 that I just pointed out, I think Tim would have better bonds in the group, and Zeridium can't really do anything about that. But I think PX would want to keep Easton, because the 2 of them are close. I don't know, I feel like Tim does the social game better than Easton, so I'm going to say Easton goes home. I want to make it clear, this is not like what I want to happen. Like, if I could rig the season, I don't know who I would pick to win yet, but just, I want to make that clear. Alright, so now, after that nightmare, it's Flappy Bird time. And this one is not going to be a grind comp, because I think that's a little funnier. To really like, put the pressure on people. Because I said Lunar would. I almost pointed with my real finger. I'm sorry, I'm hungry. Who would win this? Owen's Iridium can't play. I'm gonna like just pick a random person because I want to give her a win. I think I might pick Courtney. Or Raven. Oh my god, it's hard when, like, the people are good at things. I also gotta think, like, who's got enough patience to, like, want it more? I could also see maybe Tim, like, being really pissed off, because I don't see Easton going out unanimously. I'm gonna go Joey. I know I didn't mention his name at all, but I could see him being really mad at getting nominated. So I'm gonna say Joey wins, and who loses? I'm gonna go Kira. And I think he puts up Omen. Duh. And I think Omen goes, not because Kira isn't a threat, but I think she would do the social game a little better than Omen. And yeah, this is not how I think the season's gonna go at all. This is so funny. Final 8 challenge. I don't have anything. But, you know what? It's because I want it to be a creative comp. This was the other one where I was like, I generally know how it would go. So Joey can't compete, which like, oh, thank God for that. For Joey, at least. Oof. I see Raven doing kind of well. I see Courtney doing well. I see Tim doing well. Did I say Kira? I see Kira doing well. I am actually gonna say Courtney would win. I'm finally giving my girl a win. Who loses? I could see Zeridium losing. No, actually, that's just it. I see Zeridium losing. I don't know. Creative comps don't really feel like his thing. So I'm gonna go Zeridium losing. I think Joey... I think he puts up someone who he doesn't see as a... Oh no! Oh my god, Courtney wins. I would hope she would play it strategically and I'd be like, I'm gonna put up someone I don't think is a threat next to Zeridium, so he goes. Or she could put up a big threat next to him and just be like, fuck it, either one of them can go. I think maybe she plays the GOAT route. I think she puts up Raven, because in my timeline, Raven's been up like every week now. I think Zeridium would go. I should have looked at like the All-Stars 3 elimination order. That would have been smart. I think I'm gonna look at it real quick. Okay, so some non-threats, some threats, non-threats. Okay, so a non-threat should be going next. And it's touchy subjects. Double elimination. So Courtney is safe. Who wins? Ooh, that's hard. Tim and Sully could win. I see that. Kira, I also think could win. Raven, I think could win. I don't see Joey winning. PX, maybe not. I don't know. That's kind of a wild card. It really depends on like the state of the game. Like, do I think they're all like freaking out now? Like, what's the vibe? I think it's weirdly friendly with that final 7. It's weirdly friendly. I am gonna say Kira is gonna win. It's Kira or Tim. So I think Kira would win. And who will lose? It's like I want to say Raven. She's gonna hate me so much. It's Raven or Joey. But I don't think it'd be Joey. But okay, so here's the thing, right? I think Kira would put up... No, because I said based on trends, a flop should go this week. Okay, I'm not saying he's a flop. I almost wonder if Kira would put up PX. Or no. I think I am gonna... Because it could be Sully that goes home. Oh, it's a double. Jesus God. Okay. The bottom 2 of the challenge. Joey and PX. I think nominated... Or no. Raven and PX. And I think up with them. I think Kira would try to save Raven. I think by now there has to be a girls' alliance since the first 4 boots were women. So I think the 3 of them would work together. So Courtney wouldn't go up. And I think Kira would try to pick someone who's big enough of a threat that Raven... That's interesting, though, because, like, when you think about who's voting, you have Joey, Sully, Courtney, and Tim left. And you gotta think, like, who's gonna save who's gonna save Raven? I could see maybe Tim wanting to save Raven. I think maybe if you put Joey up there, that's how you get Raven to be safe. I think Sully is very good at kind of laying low until the end, whereas Joey is not. I think Joey goes up, and then Sully, Courtney, and Tim vote to save. Courtney saves Raven. Tim might save PX. Actually, you know what? I think Kira's plan will backfire, and I think Joey will go with the most votes to not save with 0. I think Raven will get the 1. I think PX will end up being saved. That's how I think that would go. Okay. This one is Knight's moves, so Kira can't play. Tim, PX, Sully, and Courtney who would win. I'm going to give Sully the win. I think Sully is very good at these types of things. And that just makes sense to me. Also, isn't it interesting that in this timeline, Season 14 was the first one to lose all its people? Wow. Wait, no. There's no 13s there either. What happened to them? Oh, so I'm so sorry. I knew my math was wrong. But yeah, I think Sully wins. Last place, I think maybe they would try to take out Tim. I think by now he'd be too obvious of a threat. And I think Sully would win. That's the thing. Or they would gang up on Sully and take them out first. See, that could be the thing. Or they gang up on Courtney because they've realized there was a girls' alliance. It just depends on what Sully wants to do, which actually leads me back to them winning. I think they would be like the swing vote. So Sully's gonna win. Last place, I think it's gonna be one of PX or Tim. I think Sully, in this scenario, would realize where they are in the group, because Sully's very good at that. I think Sully would realize, like, oh shit, like, I gotta make sure one of them lands in the bottom, and if I win, I can put someone from the other side of the house up, and then just say, like, good luck, girls, and hope it doesn't tie, because Sully is good at playing the middle. So, I think Tim would probably get last for some reason. I think Sully would maybe put up Courtney. I think by now should be enough of a threat. No, I'm actually going to say Kira, because I think Sully, A, would want to break up a season 16 bond, and also because Courtney is a very low-key player, Kira is very obvious, so I think Kira would go up. PX is very loyal to his people, which is not a bad trait. I do not say that in a negative way. I think Courtney would try to save Kira, and now Sully has to swing the vote. So I think for Sully, it's like, well, who do I feel more confident with, right? And based on what I know about Sully, and this is such an obvious thing, but there's like a reason behind it. It's the person to backstab them the least, right? And I do think, it's also, you gotta think about it, who is least likely to run back to their person? Like, if I save Kira, is Kira gonna run back to Courtney and I'm nothing? Because in this scenario, Sully's going in the Final Four with 2 winners, one of which being someone who, like, just wiped her maybe Courtney would go up then. Because, like, it's no metagaming, but how do you ignore that? Kind of like with the lunar double winner thing, like, how do you ignore that? I think maybe Kira gets cut, just so that Courtney does not have that ally going into the Final 2. So let me move everyone up here, because holy shit, we're already at Final 4. Wouldn't it suck if my audio stopped working? Damn. Also, 1 woman left. Damn. So, Final 4 challenge. I forgot what it was. I'm sorry. Oh, Reaper So from Season 16. That's a smart challenge. So Tim doesn't win that. I'm thinking Courtney or PX. I'm gonna say PX, actually. I'm gonna go for the wild card pick. I say PX wins, sets up the duels. I think PX would take the person with the least amount of wins. Or, I don't know. It's like, who does PX think he can beat? Because who is he aligned with? That's... okay. Here's another thing I'm thinking about. Him and Courtney are like, well, there's a Final 2, and we're 2 winners. Why don't we work together? So I think maybe PX... because PX may want to, if he's thinking about it strategically, which I would hope, he might pick Tim, hoping that, like, banking on maybe Sully wins, and it's like, well, I didn't pick you because I wanted to be Final 2 with you. But I actually think I am going to pick Sully for PX, because I think when you think about it, picking Courtney or Tim shows that, like, you don't really want them in the Final 2 with you, but with Sully, you can just say, look, like, I want to have a challenge if I can, because actually PX would do that. So I think PX picks Sully and kind of plays it like, well, I just want to beat the best so I can win. So I think PX versus Sully. Oh, God damn. I literally thought of it in this video of what I want that challenge to be. Now I have to rewatch this fucker. I don't even know when I said it. Fuck. Hopefully it'll come back to me, but whatever it was, I'm pretty confident I was thinking it was a physical comp. It was one... Oh, it was a slide thing. Yeah, Sully would trounce. I think... is Tim good at slides? I think he is. I think Tim would win. But Courtney would come close. I think between Sully and Tim... This is the disappearing act challenge. Because... I just did not see a world where I could accommodate this for Kira. And also, I want to make it clear, the reason why I keep saying Kira is I don't know about any other accommodations anyone else in the cast needs. And I'm just telling you guys, like, legitimately what went into my thought process for the season. That's why I keep singling out Kira. I'm not trying to, like, bully her. So between Tim and Sully, I could see Sully winning, personally. I just see Sully kind of actually, because Sully's good at comps, but Tim, weirdly enough, I think would just eke out a win. I think Tim would take out Sully, because Tim knows, like, well, shit. Wow. Alright, hello. It has been weeks since I left off on the recording. According to the recording, I left off at Final 4 because my family came back home, and I was not about to record this with them possibly hearing me because that would be embarrassing. So, right now in real time, it is the 21st. Zeridium has completed the qualifier, Raven has not. So we're at Final 3, so obviously I already know which... I just realized I forgot to change these colors. I don't care. So obviously I know who one of the final two is, but I'm just going to go through what my Final 4 predictions were, because I did make them in time for the draft, and I do have proof of that. Because unlike All-Stars 3, I actually saved a picture of what the predictions were on the off chance I lost the video again. So in terms of Final 4, I don't remember who I thought was going to win that challenge. I feel like given that... yeah, I don't remember who I thought was going to win. But generally speaking, I did think Courtney was going to get 4th because I just figured people would think she was like too much of a social threat. I probably thought Sully was going to win because, I mean, they're just really, really good at challenges. I feel like they would have locked in by now. And then I feel like Tim would have been voted into the final 2 because I don't feel like Sully would want to go to the end with a winner, and I feel like Sully would have beaten Pia. By the way, I'm trying to wrap this up quickly because there's just not much to say at this point, and I just want to make sure it's like done. So I think PX would have kind of given up. I feel like he would have been like, you know what, I already won. I'm gonna let someone else win. Like, I didn't think he would put as much effort into it. Not that, like, he would have thrown in the towel, but I don't think he would have done it with the sense of urgency that Sully would have done it. Which, given the notes that Sully took throughout the season, I think is very accurate. Sully would have wiped the floor with everyone. But, generally speaking, my mindset was that Sully would beat PX. And then Sully would win the season, was my prediction. Now, obviously, I'm wrong, and my best prediction was PX getting this far. But yeah, this is what I thought the season was going to look like. Obviously, you heard my reasoning for this group, but the top 4 I didn't get to in the video prior. But I gotta say, like, this was an incredible season of the powers switching back and forth, and somehow switching back at the end and staying true to PX Raven's Iridium. I mean, my god. I'm gonna do like a more in-depth video when I have all the votes for the winner. I will say, now that I think about it, it will just be fun. Between Raven's Iridium, I think... I don't know, because Iridium did have 3 penalties. And Raven has Sully's notes, which are very good. And Sully was like, I'm gonna win this goddamn comp. Personally, I do think Raven could beat Ziridium, but also, I think Ziridium's gonna win. Here's why. Raven is not a reader. We have seen that time and time again. Raven will even admit it herself. I think she'll get tripped up by the wording of some of the questions and mess up. Whereas Ziridium, he is like locked in, laser focused. Now, while he did get penalties, I think Raven's gonna get a lot more. And I think kind of like Ziridium versus Allie for the pilot, I think Raven's gonna have too many penalties to where it didn't matter how fast she got all the correct answers. It's just gonna come down to who had less penalties. So my prediction will be that Ziridium is gonna win, but I would not be surprised if Raven wins. PX, I love you dearly, but the jury does not like you. And I think it would take an insane FTC to win the season, but I don't see it happening. I do see one of the season 14 people taking the crown home, which is crazy that 2 people from the same season are basically competing for the win with the qualifier comp. So that's just like my very quick top 4 predictions, like what they were, and then just like a winner prediction for funsies. I think Ziridium is most likely to beat Raven in the comp and win. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I really do think it's one of Ziridium and Raven. I just think in terms of winning the comp, that is what will nab one of them to win. And I think it'll be Ziridium, especially because this is a thing that I've noticed as I've gone back and worked on counting comps to like make the records hall look a little bit cleaner. I've noticed that a good portion of winners, ironically one of them being Omen of all people, won out in the end and were able to snag it. Lynn was one of them. She did have a pilot win before the finale, to her credit. However, there have been quite a few winners, I believe, who really didn't start winning until the end. And Ziridium, I think, did well enough in all the comps and has a bit of a strategic presence on the season. And also, the jury does not like PX. Like, I think that's a huge factor in why I think he loses to both of them, is that the jury is not really talking about PX other than to bash on him. Whereas Raven is the jury favorite, but Ziridium is like, I guess I'll vote for him. Though, in Raven versus PX, it's a 7-0. Ziridium versus PX, that could very well be 4-3. I think, looking at the jury, I think Allie would vote PX for sure. Kira might vote PX. I don't see Courtney voting PX. Joey, I don't see voting PX. Raven, I genuinely think would be the swing vote here. Lunar would vote Ziridium for sure, though. I know that. Sully would vote Ziridium. Remember, this is Ziridium versus PX. Raven versus Ziridium, that would be 7-0 as well. I think it is insane, by the way. I just want to talk about this. that Raven was a GOAT, forgot to vote, and then ended up becoming the top contender for the crown. Not like against Sully or anything, but like generally speaking, she is a contender for the crown. I would have never expected that, given how the season was going at first. I also feel bad. I meant to do a merge prediction, but then that was kind of around when I got sick, and like really, really sick. So I never got to. And then this is the first time that I really like forced myself to do it, because I'm not getting anything right now at work. But that's insane. This has been such an amazing season. First of all, this is a cast of stars. Oh my god. Now, not everyone had the best gameplay in the world, but, I mean, my god. It is so nice to have a cast that is all stars. There is not a single person here that I'm like, man, I shouldn't have wasted the invite on them. On past All-Stars, there have been those people. But this season, even Molly and Sav, the first two boots, I don't regret a damn thing casting them. I mean, they brought entertainment for the first 2 weeks when there usually really isn't, in my opinion. I think the first 2 weeks are some of the worst. And the two of them just brought it. So I can't thank everyone enough. But once I know who the final two are, that's when I want to do like my retrospective that kind of made All Stars 3 video not happen, because I wanted to do an end of season, like I wanted to talk about everyone's arcs now that I knew definitively like this person won. So that's why I haven't done it yet, the retrospective part. But generally speaking, everyone made me happy. Even Raven. Even Raven, I think, really made me happy. There were some people who did not play the way I was hoping. Like, they didn't play at that level, but not everyone can be, a contender. Like, not everyone can be a Sully, a Joey, a Lunar, etc. Like, not everyone's gonna play at that level. Not to say that, like, those were the only three who played at such a higher level. Once again, I'll get into that in the retrospective. Those were just, like, the three that popped into my head. Not everyone's gonna play like that. So, I really set my expectations, like, will they at least match or improve upon the last time they played? And you know what? I think everyone... I'll save it for the retrospective, but I'm very happy with everyone's casting on this season. There is a lot of potential for superstars. I don't know who's going to get cast. And it also depends on how many people from All-Stars 3 drop, because there has been one or two people that's like, I don't know. And at that point, would I rather do 14 people? And then, of course, it always depends on who wins the season. So, be on the lookout for that. This will not be the final time we see each other. And take it away for the retrospective. Hello, so this is the final part of the video. Found some extra time in my day, we'll just put it that way. And I'm gonna do the season retrospective. I just first want to say, it says my mic is peaking, but I have it pulled away from my face, so womp womp. I just want to say, this was one of the best seasons ever. Holy shit. Everyone brought their A game. Not in the challenges, but like in the org part of it all. Yeah, words cannot describe... I'm like trying to make this quick because it's been a shitty morning already. But I also want to really hit home that this has been such an incredible season. I cannot thank you all enough for giving it your A games, and that's why I even wanted to do a retrospective, quote-unquote retrospective. You know, it ended 2 days ago, but I just feel like you all kind of deserved a bit more from me because of how amazing you were. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to start... I feel like it's going to be easier to start at first place, but it's more grand to end with first place. So, starting with Miss Molly, you know, your time was short, but you at least made an impact, and of all the first boots, I will at least remember you. You know, you went out with a bang, and I can't even say you let me down because, I mean, as you all know, I did predict her getting first boot, but I was still not let down with the way you handled yourself. You didn't, you know, you didn't go down without a fight, thank God. And you kept trying no matter what. And I wish I had more to say, but because you were the first boot, you know, all I can really say is I'm really glad you played, because, you know, without you, it would have been a boring first week. Next up was Sav. Once again, kind of like Molly, there isn't a lot I can really retrospect about, but you also made me so proud, you know. I had a little more faith in you than I should have, but you still did make the season entertaining. I just have to say, you two may have been bad at the challenges, and the social game wasn't super there, but you still made the first 2 weeks entertaining, when they could have not been. They could have all been dog shit, they could have been boring, we could have been bored, and neither of you went out unanimously, first of all, because you both put up a fight. And that's what I want from All-Stars. I want people who are there to play, and both of you came in playing to win. And I'm just beyond happy. You know, it sucks to have lost both of you right away, because I feel like the season would have been more entertaining if you made it farther, but just the fact that you two even showed up at all, you both brought entertainment to the season. You made it fun. You made people want to play. And, you know, not everyone is going to be a Joey, a Sully, a Zeridium. Like, not everyone's going to be hyper fixated on the game, making the best moves, or Lunar locking in for the challenges, etc. Some people are fun. You two, Brooke, I guess Courtney, because that challenge performance, woof. But, you know, not everyone has to be locked in. Some people are allowed to just play, and that's why I'm so grateful about the two of you. But, yeah. Sorry, I got a text from my mother that we need to work on our fishbowl for Monopoly Go. By the way, if y'all want to help me out, you can... hashtag sponsor, you can, ask me for my referral to Monopoly Go so I can get things, so I can have nice things. That's all I got. Who the fuck was next? I'm gonna look at the elimination order, because I don't remember. Omen! Oof. I mean, first of all, like I said, this was one of the ones that really, really shocked me. Because, I mean, obviously you all know I thought he was gonna go far, but also, like, it kinda came out of nowhere. Like, I don't know, just all of a sudden, Omen was public enemy number 1. And I don't know how that happened. And it was sad, because Omen would have given us fun feeds if he went until the end. But Omen, just like I said with Sav and Molly, you know, your time was short, but your impact was big. And that's all I can be grateful for. Because someone has to go home first. Someone has to be an early boot. And with a cast this good, this stacked, you know, unfortunately, some people have to go home early, and it was the fun people. Not that people in the end game weren't fun, but, like, this was the entertainment row. Now that I'm looking at it, this was, like, the fun group of people who would have really given us, like, drama down. Next up was Zayden. Oh, poor baby. This was sad. This was really sad. I'm moving the thing. This was really sad. If you had just done whatever you didn't do, you would have been fine. Would have been 5-4. You would have stayed. But also, we wouldn't have gotten Raven's incredible redemption arc, which we'll get to later. But, Zayden, you... When I put you as most dropped, I meant it. Because you had so much potential for how you were going to play, and you fucked it up by getting a penalty vote. It really, really sucks to have lost you, because I feel like had you gotten to the end, you would have been a contender for the crown. But you didn't, so... Easton, oh, my poor summer child. First of all, I hope you and Brooke have a lovely wedding. I was gonna make a joke onto that, but I kind of feel like it wrote itself. But Easton, like with Zayden and kinda Omen, you know, you were Team Fun Feeds, but you also were doing things. It's kind of hard for me to, like, talk about the pre-jurors, because A, it is a lot to keep up with All-Stars. Oh my god. So I didn't really try. Like, I kept up, but there were audience members who knew more than I did, and that's okay. I'm at peace with that. But Easton, I am proud of how you played. You came in wanting to have fun, and you made the season more enjoyable, especially with some of your black box messages, and the fact that you were willing to call people out, thank God. And even though I was rooting on Be Real Up Crazy's downfall the entire season, you all still did fantastic. You should all be proud of yourselves, and especially you, Easton, because I know, without going into a psychological deep dive, I know you're really hard on yourself. And obviously, I'm just some rando on the internet, but I really wish you weren't as hard on yourself, because you are a good player. You have all the... I really hope my team's message did not come up. I don't think it did. But you have all the pieces to be a legendary player. It's just refining those skills. And I think everyone can agree when I say that your placement here is not representative of how good you are as a player. And that goes for everyone. Someone has to be an early boot. Now, I'm not saying you should strive for that, but it has to happen. You know, we can't all make it to the end of the game. Someone has to be early. And that's why I said when I cast for Superstars, I don't have that you have to be a juror requirement. Because with the regular seasons, the rookie seasons, that's like whatever. You know, like most of the people in the pre-jury are going to be inactives. Maybe one like surprise elimination, but given the fact that Sav was the only person here who did not make top 7, which, can y'all believe that? Someone pointed that out to me in first class, that Zayden and Kira and Sav were the only people who did not make top 5 on their qualifying season. I did not intend for that. Like, Zayden and Kira, I made them 7th heaven, because I was like, oh, they're both the only people who got 7th, and they kinda, you know, have similar reasons why they're here. But I did not realize that... I just have to hold back a yawn. I did not realize that 13 people were in the top 5, which also goes to show how good this cast was. I mean, my god. But, yeah, back to where I was before. That's why I don't think placement means anything for Superstars. Because especially in All-Stars, when you have a good cast, You're going to have good people who get cut in the pre-jury. That's just it. That's how it happens. So I don't want any of you to be down on yourselves. And that leads me to Brooke, who I know was upset at her low placement. And like I said with Easton, this does not define you. You played one hell of a game. And I remember Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, I'm only going to, like, be positive for the retrospective. There's no, like, none of you warrant, like, negativity. But, well, anyway. Brooke, I remember in the finale VC you kept saying, oh man, like, you know, I wish I played better, I would have gotten to jury, but I wish I could get it through to you. The reason why you're here and not here is because you were playing well. And I misspoke that you were in a bottom 3. It was you versus Raven. At the time, Raven was in her flop era, and you were in your slay era. So, of course you got taken out over her. You were a bigger threat than her. So I really want you to internalize the fact. It's funny, because I said with Easton that he had all the pieces, he needs to refine them. I feel like you're in that refining process. Because I did notice an upgrade to your game this time around. There was something different about you. To where you were actually, first of all, lying to people, thank God. And you were willing to... Sorry, it's 8 a.m. You were willing to take someone out if they were a threat to you. So I really liked seeing the evolution in you, and I feel like this was a very good storyline for you. And that's why you were in contender for most robbed, but that penalty vote is genuinely what pushed Zayden over the edge, because they would have been fine. You would not have. You were gone. Next up is Tim. Now Tim, okay. I think Tim was one of the bigger surprises. I'm not speaking in terms of elimination, but I was kind of surprised that Tim didn't really make any waves on the season. But in the same token, you were always there. Like, you were always present. And it was just great seeing you panic, first of all. I love making all of you panic. It is very enjoyable for me. But yeah. You know, Tim, just like with, like, Omen, Easton, Zayden, it's like there's not much I can say other than the fact that you did not disappoint me one bit. And, I mean, what a pre-jury. I'm surprised, though, at this cast's restraint to only get rid of 3 women in the pre-jury. Very, very surprised. But overall, the pre-jurors, wow. What a good group of people. I mean, it sucks, but I also love the jury we got. I'm not editing this fucking video. I just... Oh my god, it's too fucking early for this. Okay, the team's messages are not showing up. So, first juror was Lunar. I mean, what else can you say about a legend? You know, first of all, a lot of you should be thanking Lunar for gracing you with his presence. And I only mean that half ironically, because, god damn. I will say this was one of Lunar's weaker showings, but it is not his worst. No. And I just love the way you played Lunar. I mean, my god. Yeah, it's like I'm finding it. I mean, I really shouldn't have done this 8 a.m. I should have actually prepared for this one, but I want to go off the cuff so it's genuine. Oh my god, I got 6 hours of sleep. I'm sure it's showing. Lunar, it was sad seeing you leave, but it was pretty fair. You did kind of show your hand during the multiversal crash, which I ate my acting performance. Yup. None of you could ever do what I did. Yup. 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 And it was sad, Lunar, seeing your downfall. But it was also iconic because it was women coming out on top. So, like, you know, me, Joey, and Sully were giggling. Now on to Kira, a contender for most robbed. I don't know what their obsession was with you, but when you got it, you got it. You know, I think that's just a testament to how iconic you are. And I hope... Jesus, fuck! I hope that you don't retire from orgs. You have a gift at orgs. I mean, I don't want any of you to retire, but I'm just singling out Kira, because I remember she told me that multiple times. I think Molly actually said that too. I hope neither of you quit. But back to Molly. I mean, Kira. You should not quit. No. You have a great social game, and you have a good strategic mind. And the fact that you keep getting, like, into the middle of the season, first of all, hilarious to me. It is so funny to see you get the same placement for kind of the same reason. Like, they noticed you were a social threat because you are, girl. Oh my god. That's why you were a contender for Miss Congeniality as well. See, I feel so bad for, like, you and Joey, because you both deserved an award, but I don't like doing awards, so I just kind of, like, keep it short, and there wasn't really, like, a good time to give you guys one. And we'll get into Sully later for Pots, but yeah, all I can really say, Kira, is you played one hell of a game. Great social game as always. Bad threat management as always. Next up, I believe was the double. Yes, it was Joey and Courtney. I mean, same thing with Lunar. You all gotta thank him. Joey, I think, is the second best to never win. I'm not gonna say who the best to never win is, because we'll get into that later. But Joey, I mean, I saw a Swaloon in Pokemon Go, and, like, I got a jump scare from that. But it is always such a pleasure to see you play, and I'm sad you didn't win, but I'm also so happy you didn't win, because we can now continue that storyline of your friends being winners, and you're, you know, a 4-time loser, I think we're at? Yeah, 4-time loser. So good for you. Good for you. Amazing player as always. You know, I don't have anything, like with Lunar, I don't have anything new to say about you, because you were so consistently good. You and Lunar, always consistently good. I had to bring you both back for All-Stars. Now, Superstars, you kind of were on the last one, so I actually don't know. Kind of want some new people. None of you old geezers anymore. And now to Mother. Joey, you can blame her for taking your Best Confessional award, because, well, her and Sully, really, you can blame them. I know I ranked Courtney low. I think I did say this in my prediction video, actually, like, beat for beat. She is one of my favorite winners. There's just something about her that's so, like, you want to root for her. I think that's what makes her a very compelling winner, is that she has that storyline. She has the personality. I mean, my god. But she does not have the challenge performance. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm, like, jack shit at challenges unless I really lock in, because, like, fuck that. I would be horrible on, like, Survivor. I would not want to do any of the challenges, because in the blistering heat, no. But yeah, Courtney, you are an icon, and while your challenge performance did not reflect that, your everything else performance did. There was strategic thinking, there was fantastic social play. I just 5 times. That's beautiful. That is the queer art worth protecting. You go, Megami. Sully. I mean... The reason why I felt Sully deserved pods is they were playing from the jump. They had a Google Doc. If y'all don't know, Sully made a Google Doc preparing for the trivia comp that they knew was going to happen at the end of the season. That is cracked. And I looked at that Google Doc. That is insane. I have to give Sully pods for that. And on top of that, Sully was a good strategic thinker, they were a good social player, they did really well on the comps. It would be not right to not give them pots when they put so much effort into it. And also with pots, that's like such a subjective thing on like All-Stars. Because if you said, I would have given it to Joey, yeah, okay. I'm at peace with that. I would have given it to Zeridium because he won. Yeah, I can see that. I would have given it to Raven because she really showed up at the end and she would have swept them all except Sully in the final vote. Yeah, I could see Raven getting pots, yeah. Like, you could make a justification for a multitude of people. But with Sully, that is a very deserved pot. And it's weird because, like, it feels like Sully should already have pots from Season 13. But oh my god. But I feel like I gave it to Lunar instead, which, I mean, yeah. But, Sully, you were such a pleasure to have. And even though we butt heads when we play together, as a host, you are one of my favorites. I'm so sad you do not have a crown. We need to do like Drag Race and have All-Stars every other season and just keep bringing my faves back. Like, we'll just keep doing my favorites until each of them win, but if you win, you get off the season until there's like 3 people playing. Just so the people I like get crowns. Next is Allie, the Rachel Berry of PokeRace. Allie, we may butt heads on a lot of things, like challenges, and twists, and reading everything. But you are such a gifted player, and a wonderful person, mind you. Definitely in contention for Miss Congeniality, because you are such a light to have. And yes, I did talk my shit in first class when you were bugging me, but you are still one of the best to ever win. Your winning game is incredible, and even this season, you had a path to the crown if you took the right people. So, you know, regardless of anything else, you are an insanely gifted player. And I really just want to highlight that because I feel like people, including me, I might have actually said this, underestimate you. And that's not fair. Because you can be such a threat in these games. My god, if people don't get you out of there, they're not getting you out of there. I had to stop the recording. I hate it here. Top 3. Miss Raven. Talk about a redemption story. This is probably one of the best single season story arcs ever. Because how do you go from GOAT to not voting and pissing me off to becoming just one of the strongest players on the season? That's incredible. And you should be so extremely proud of how you played. I mean, my god, just like I said a few moments ago, if someone said that you deserved pots, I mean, not like if Sully and Joey were there, but you could deserve it in someone's eyes, and I would be okay with that. Because, holy shit, Raven. Holy shit, Raven! Such a good player. Oh my god. I'm so happy you didn't vote. Because we got a good-ass Raven on the season. And there was honestly a part of me that wanted you to win, but I wanted Zeridium to win more out of the top 3. But there was a part of me that really did want you to win, because that would have been a deserved and earned victory. Not that Zeridium's wasn't, or not that PX's wouldn't have been, but I'm just talking about you. It would have been deserved if you won the season. And had you voted Zeridium into the top 2 and fought PX, you would have whooped his ass, Zeridium. You would have whooped him. I think it would have been 5-2. Which is insane, because you were a GOAT who forgot to vote for the first half of the season, maybe a little more than half. I really hope that you find the self-esteem to say, you know what? I kick ass in orgs. And when you apply yourself, you are just a force to be reckoned with. And that is why I will never regret casting you for All-Stars. Even if you say, oh, but I was inactive in the start, I didn't vote that 1 week. Who cares when your endgame was that good? You know, I think Best Move was, I was a little biased in it because it was so fresh. But it was incredible to see people targeting you for weeks, and you somehow convincing them, or at least adding to their decision to keep you. Because I know Zeridium say he was already thinking of keeping you, so that's why I said adding to, because in an org, this is also something I want to touch on real quick. When I play and I get to an FTC or anything like that, I try to not... By the way, this is not related to Raven at all. Only kinda. I try not to say, like, oh, I convinced them to do this. I convinced them to do that. Because you never know. You know, they may have already been thinking that, and you just pushed them over the edge. This is unsolicited org advice. I always, even in the FTC, keep it as a hypothetical. Unless I know for a fact I did something, or I believe for a fact I did something. Like, I played a Survivor recently. Maddie Viver, it's run by an alumni, and I'm on production, but only to help set up the server. I am not doing jack shit else. Absolutely not. That is not my org. But yeah, free promo, join Maddie Viver, because I played, and I was robbed at 3rd. Teehee. But yeah, when I was prepping my final speech, what I was gonna say, there was a move that I had made to blindside someone who I thought had an idol. And I was, like, convinced. I was so convinced. And I found out after the season ended that multiple other people had the idea. I was telling people on the jury, oh, I did the blindside against Zgal, that was the person we blindsided, Zgal. And other people said, oh, I thought I did that. Or this other person, I thought they did that. And we found out that multiple people kind of had the idea at the same time. I personally think I planted a lot of the seeds, but you never know, is the point I'm getting at. You never know if you're the one who originated a move, unless you fully say it right then and there. And you may be wrong. Other people may be thinking the same thing. It is okay to take credit for a move that you think you made. But it's hard when you say, I convinced them to do X, Y, Z. Like, it's okay to say, oh, I believe it's okay to say, like, oh, I originated the flip and X, Y, Z, if you really believe you did that. And that's another thing to the jurors. Yeah, some people can be delusional, but also some people may just be wrong. Like, in the example I just gave, I genuinely believed I created that blindside. I would have never thought to give credit. Also, I know this is not related at all, but I just want to put this on a public forum so people can read it and spread it around, like a virus. It's kind of unfair to always assume someone's lying or they're delusional, etc. Like, sometimes people could be wrong. Plain and simple. Like, if someone has evidence to back up why For example, in that moment, I thought I started the blind side because the minute we did our third swap, well, technically second swap, I was throwing him under the bus. I was saying, oh, I think he has an idol XYZ in the third. So, if someone can give you, like, a timeline, maybe, oh, well, I thought of that move too, and I helped contribute to it. Okay, this is not about you! Now, of course, if someone's just lying, they're like, oh, I did that. And you're like, bitch, what? You were a joke the entire season. You did not do that. That's okay. That is not what we're talking about. I mean, if someone genuinely and honestly believes, I feel as though so that's why, all in all, I try not to use such direct language unless I really honestly believe it applies. Because A, you don't want to look cocky and saying, I did X, I did Y, I did Z. So A, it kind of keeps you humble, but also it allows for there to be a sense of, I could be wrong about this. But, and then you give evidence to back up your claim. You should always be giving evidence to back up your claims in an FTC. You shouldn't just say, I did this, I did that, and that's why I should win. That's not good. No, 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 no. So it is always helpful to, if you really don't know, or you think it could have been someone else, it's okay to say, you know, I contributed to it. I've said that about some moves. I've said, I helped plan this move. I helped do this. Now, if I genuinely think I started it, I will say, I started XYZ. That is okay to say, if you genuinely believe that. And if you're lying, as a Final 2 member, I think that's okay. I think you can lie to the jury. I know there are people who disagree with me. I think it's okay to lie to the jury. But it's also like a shitty idea, because you're probably going to get caught. I just wanted to get on my soapbox real quick, because I've noticed in previous FTCs, not this one, you all were pretty fair this time, because it was kind of obvious what we were going to do. But I've noticed in previous juries, they're like, oh, this person didn't make that move because I thought of it. But then the person, like, genuinely thinks they did that, and they can cite, like, a timeline as to why they think that. Like, sometimes it's okay to say, you know, like, the people in the Final 2 cannot corroborate facts and details with other people. The jury can at least talk to each other, because not many people lie when they're on the jury. And they're not pre-jurors, so they can't see the entire server. So, TLDR, if you're a finalist, it is okay to say, I contributed, I helped do this, as long as you also have moves that you made. But it's, you know, don't go willy-nilly saying, I controlled this, I controlled that. Like, it's okay to say, I didn't initiate it, but I helped push it through. Because as a juror myself, I mean, I always like to ask people, what is a move that you started and you sought out to the end? Because that, to me, is the hallmark of a good winner. If you can make your own moves and carry them out yourself, or, like, get other people to do it for you, but that kind of falls under it. So as a Final 2-ist, you know, it's okay to say, I helped with, I contributed to, as long as you also have moves. If you're just helping people make their own moves the entire season, that's not good. You want to do things that are in your best interest. Now, as a juror, y'all gotta give the Final 2 some slack. You know, obviously grill them and test them on their ability to have maneuvered through the game. That is not what I'm telling you not to do. But, like, you gotta give some grace to the Final 2. If they genuinely believe, I feel as though I made this move because. And if your org allows you to ask multiple questions, just ask, why do you think you made this move? Because I disagree with your analysis. Like, just ask that, instead of being like, oh, they didn't make that move. But then you don't ask them to follow up on it. Because I've seen that. I've seen that where no one followed up. and said, like, why do you think you did this? Like, why are you taking credit for this? That's a very fair question to ask. Why do you think you should get credit for this move? Like in my example of Matty Viver, if someone said, Cram, why do you think you should get credit for this move when a bunch of us were thinking it? I would have evidence to support my claim. No one came to me about the vote. I went to other people about the vote. I was throwing him under the bus as soon as we swapped. I mutinied from my tribe because I felt that he had an idol and he was going to use it to get rid of me. Well, you need evidence to back up your claims. I just wanted to go on that rant because I wanted to. And now PX and Zeridium. PX, I mean, that is the miscongeniality of the season. Such a light to have. You know, this may not have been your best showing, but the fact that you've gotten first and second, my god, that is how you know we have a legend on our hands. You are such a good player. You understand the social game. And I was you know what? I was going to say I wish there had been a bit more, like, intentionality to your moves. But also, you went through it in real life, and that wouldn't be fair. You know, and also you're a winner. Like, you have less to prove than everyone else. You know, you just have to justify your win. And the fact that you got the top 2, like, you may have gotten 0 votes to win, but you still got the top 2. Yeah, I thought I had more to say about that specific point, but in either case, PX, you did not disappoint me. Obviously, you know, I would have wanted to see more, like, purpose with your moves, but in the end, you played one hell of a social game, and that's why I ultimately gave you Miscongeniality. Because A, that's, like, the Season Hero award, but it's also, like, the Social Butterfly award, kind of wrapped up in one, because it felt ridiculous to do both. I'm sorry, I do not agree with orgs who do millions and millions of awards. Maddie. But yeah, PX. Fabulous player. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. No notes. Even though I gave you notes. And Mother Zeridia. Sorry, I showed my toolbar and there was something from my work up there and I don't want to show that. So, Zeridium. Yup. Mother, I am so happy that you got the win. Deserved, given who was left in the final 2. Even final 4, I would argue, you had the best winning equity. Even though the jury wanted Raven to win. I feel as though you played one incredible game, and you are very much a deserving winner. And I know that when I originally was going to do the retrospective, it was just going to be like talking about how everyone played, what their narratives were, and like I kind of did that. But in the same token, like, the game's over. Why not just highlight what everyone did well? And all in all, that's what I feel like you all deserve. There's no reason to like tear anyone down because all of you played an all-star level game. Now, some of your stars shined brighter than the others, and that's okay. Some people have to fade into the background. We're not all the leading character. But even the ensemble members of the season made me happy because everyone was participating in the game. At different points, Raven, but all of you were participating. All of you acted as if you were all-stars. And that, as a host, that's all you can ever ask for. Especially when a lot of the other all-star casts had some booger queens on them. This one, I wouldn't label really any of you a booger. Because all of you played. You know, in other seasons, you had someone who didn't play as much or got dragged to the end and was literally just vibing. Like, say what you want about PX's game, he was still willing to take out a threat when need be. Some people in other All-Star seasons were just there to be there, to fill the spot. But this season, like, yeah, there were kind of filler queens, but not really. Like, I don't know. It's when I think of filler in an org, I think of someone who sat there and did nothing. Everyone on this season did something. Everyone had a storyline. And I'm just so grateful. You know, I don't have a lot of moments where I'm willingly nice to you people because you bother me. But I feel like it was earned after the season you all played. It was an amazing season. I'm so sad it's over. And I don't know who I'm picking for Superstars. Like, obviously, Zeridium gets an invite. He's the winner, blah, blah, blah. But it's... And, of course, there are obvious people, you know. I will say, the casting for Superstars is a lot more obvious than it is for All-Stars. I think Superstars, the majority of the cast got clocked. Because, you know, when you're picking 8 people from an All-Stars, it's not that hard. So the only hints I will give for Superstars. A, placement does not equal guaranteed invite, except for Zeridium. Being a pre-juror does not preclude you from getting an invite to Superstars at all. The next hint I'll give is that it is okay to have fun on Superstars. It is supposed to be, like, All-Stars is a battle of the best of the best, and Superstars, you know, best of the best of the best. But it's also a celebration of this era. All the way from Season 7, from 2022, Jesus God, it'll almost have been 2 years since, Season 7. And that would mean we're coming up around the 4-year anniversary of me starting again on Discord. But yeah, I want it to be a celebration of what came before, but like after Superstars 1. And when you look at the Superstars 1 cast, that is emblematic of who we will remember from that era. And of course, there were a few people like Shakura. I didn't get her on Superstars. But at the end of the day, Superstars is supposed to be a celebration. It's supposed to uplift everyone. Now, granted, I am going to put you down as much as possible, because it's funny. But at the end of the day, it's a celebration. Yes, I want it to be the peak of gameplay, but I also want it to be a love letter to all of you who gave it your all. And when I look at Superstars, I do look at previous seasons. Whereas with, All-Stars, I kind of only had like 1 season to go off of. But when I look at Superstars, I also look at the original season. Now, All-Stars gets more weight added to it. That's like 80-20. 80% is how you did on All-Stars, 20% is, or 10% is how you did on previous season, 10% is how you do in outside orgs. I do take other orgs into consideration. But it's going to be hard for Superstars, because I actually like a lot of you. Whereas with, like, pulling from All-Stars 3, all I'm saying is to the All-Stars 3 people who are coming back for Superstars, be very afraid of the All-Stars 4 cast. Even though All-Stars 3 did have some crazy good play, I cannot wait. That is going to be a showdown for the ages. But like just like Superstars was. That was a showdown. And I'm excited because I feel like I've refined the way I cast All-Stars, and there's better people. Now, All-Stars 3 had a lot of filler queens, I will admit. Also, funny story, Allie was considered for All-Stars 3, and then she wasn't. Could you imagine if she was there instead of here? That would be crazy, because she was a very, like, pivotal character of All-Stars 4. So, anyways, I just want to throw that in there real quick. But yeah, that is the end. I'm pretty much not going to edit much of this, because I don't want to. And I think it's fun to just hear me ramble, because you know I'm not reading a script, you know I'm not making it up, like, I'm just talking. And that's what these videos are. So, once again, I feel like you all got better remarks than Superstars did. But you all played so well. And especially after All-Stars 3, that snooze fest of a pre-jury, like the first couple weeks, and yeah, I can't thank all of you enough. All 16 of you played like a star. And with that, I will see you all for Superstars 2 premiering in August. I was thinking mid-August after my birthday, but I don't know. I kind of want that season to happen sooner because I'm so excited for it. At the end of the day, happy Pride and free Palestine.